Hi guys, welcome to Multiverse. Today we're going to take a look at the Age of Justice bounty mission. Basically, there's four bounties that you need to defeat in order to complete the mission. I wasn't too sure how to do this video, and it pretty much happened by accident. So let's get started. So basically, what you're looking for other people who are going to do that mission. You don't see it quite yet on the minimap, but at some point you'll see a red dot to the top right corner of the minimap, which will be the bounty that will appear. One way to try to find the bounty is to phase with other people. Like you come to this area, and you look if the bounty is there. If not, you try to phase to someone else, hoping that you'll phase somewhere where the bounty is. Or you can look at the looking for group tab, and sometimes you'll see people who say Ultra is here or Gentleman Ghost is here. There's four bounties in all. There's Ultra Humanite, there's Gentleman Ghost, there's Grundy, Solomon Grundy, and there is Eclipso. So as you can see on the minimap, you see that red dot, that's the bounty, and let's see which bounty it is. It is the Gentleman Ghost. So if you get here and there's already people, ideally you try to ask them if they can invite you to the group. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. What I basically do is that if I'm part of a group, I will switch to controller so that I can supply power to the group, so that I can debuff the bounty and all that good stuff. And also I'll use my various shields to try to either keep myself alive or keep the group alive, depending on how things are going. If I'm by myself with a whole bunch of other people, because sometimes you can do that. You get there's already 1, 2, 3 groups that are fighting the bounty. You can decide to chip in, and but if you do that, I strongly suggest that you switch to DPS. One of the reasons for that is that to get the credit for the bounty, you need to do a certain minimum amount of damage. I'm not sure. I have no idea what the actual minimum is. But if you're by yourself with a whole group of people and you're playing DPS, odds are you'll be able to do enough damage to get the credit for the bounty. If you switch to DPS thinking that you're going to help the group by debuffing the bounty or something like that, sadly you probably won't do enough damage to be able to be eligible for the bounty. But if you're part of a group, then your whole group does damage to the bounty, so you can safely switch to DPS and to controller or to healer if you need to, and the rest of the group will do whatever damage you need to be eligible for the bounty. So if you're by yourself, I strongly suggest you stay in DPS mode. If you're with a whole group, then yeah, if you want to switch to DPS, to controller or to healer or to tank to try to help out the group, well, why not? And as you fight the various bounties, if you look next to Gentleman Ghost, sometimes you'll see a skull that appears. Usually it means that he's going to do a huge attack that will pretty much one-shot a lot of players. Like, you can see the skull right now. And odds are, if people didn't block at the right time, or if they didn't have a shield or something to protect them, some of them could have died. So the short version is that if you see the red skull next to Gentleman Ghost or any of the bounties, block and hope that he will not kill you through your block. Sometimes what I'll do instead, I'll use a shield to protect myself. Usually that's enough to do the trick. Or even better, I'll use a shield to protect the whole group to make sure that no one gets killed when the skull appears. My shield are pretty strong, so usually it does the trick. Although once in a while it could happen that the bounty actually eats through my shield and eats through my health. But usually the shield does a good job protecting me. I have a lot of dominance to strengthen my shield, so that usually does the trick. And as you can see, it's a pretty narrow area to fight, so with a lot of players fighting the bounty, sometimes things can get a lot confusing and a bit messy. And also sometimes you can be blocked in the doorway by other players, so it's a little tough sometimes. Here we have a bit more room to maneuver, although if we go to the other side of the door to fight, the corridor is very narrow. You'll probably see it in with one of the upcoming bounties There's a time when I went all the way to the end of the corridor to fight the bounty. So we're almost done with our friend Gentleman Ghost. Gentleman Ghost. I'll get it someday. So there we go. So as you can see, you saw the other three name flash because we just defeated this one. So once you defeat the bounty, you have a few options. Either you wait there and hope that the next bounty will spawn and that it will be one of the bounty you need. Usually what I'll do is that I'll go back to looking for group. Sometimes people will ask in the chat, okay, I still need Solomon Grundy. Anyone else needs it? And then we try to find it. And in this case, the group pretty much disbanded. But you can see Starfire, you just found Ultra Humanite. So I'm going to phase to Starfire. And there we go. And as you can see, there's already quite a few people. I'm in the PvE phase, so heroes and villains will contribute to defeating the bounty. Although if we were in the PvP phase, it will be a whole different story. I'll probably make a video about the PvP phase of this map because it made PvP a little fun or a little challenging once more. So basically we're waiting to see, our friend Starfire invited us to group with them. But sadly that's going to be pretty much just me and him in this group. But as you can see, there's a whole bunch of other people. We're just not all grouped together. So I'm staying as a DPS to make sure that me and our friend Starfire will be able to do enough damage so that we will get the credit for the bounty. But as you can see, it's a whole mess. There's a whole bunch of villains, heroes. It's chaos in its pure form. And usually I try to get a bit closer with the orbital strike. I keep on casting sometimes orbital strike, and I'm at just a tiny bit off the range, and it ends up just casting the orbital strike where I'm standing. Oh well. So you see a few of the players were downed by our friend Ultra Humanite with this humongous attack. I'm not sure exactly what the attack is. Sometimes it seems to target, sometimes some of those attacks seems to target players that are right next to the bounty. Sometimes they seem to target the player that's the furthest away from the bounty. So I haven't been doing those bounties often enough that I'm not quite sure exactly which attack does what. But I know enough that if I see the skull, either I'll block, I'll cast a shield, or I'll try to run away and hope I won't be the target of that evil attack. So we can see our friend Ultra Humanite go down fairly quickly. So you saw Humanite charging through the players. So if you see the skull, either try to block, use a shield, or try to get out of range. That's the three. There's the three options I see right now. I'm not sure if healers can heal you through that attack, because usually those attacks seems to take you from full health to 0 health in record time. So I'm not sure if certain healers would have time to heal you before you reach your 0 health. Could be. So we got 2 bounties done. We still have 2 more to go. So again, what I'll end up doing is that I'll try to switch phase, which is not that evident because more often than not, well, I'll use the recent text. I'll try to grab one of the names in there, and I'll see if I can phase with them. Sometimes I get lucky and I get it in 2 or 3 tries. Sometimes I have to try it a half a dozen times in order to be able to do it. So as you can see again on the mini-map, we see the red dot, and let's see which bounty it is. It's still a Gentleman Ghost. So we're gonna have to still look around and try to phase. So as you can see, already in desired phase, Not sure why I didn't have the face option with him. That's strange. Let's try our friend Stark again. Not sure why there's a NPC, a player that is flagged as if he was in PvP. It happens sometimes. We still cannot attack him, but somehow he seems to be flagged as if he was in PvP for some reasons. So let's see. So let's go to looking for group and let's see if we have someone. Ultra Humanite, we have it. We fought him already, so it won't help us. So one option is to look through looking for group and hope to find someone who need the same bounty you need. As you can see, there's some gold sellers in the looking for group chat. Ultra Humanite again. The 411 village, no. Another gold seller. And ideally, you want to do the bounties not too long after the weekly reset. No, we have Eclipso. Eclipso Grundy. Ultra Humanite again. So when I did the video, I didn't notice the guy who had Eclipso, so I'm still looking through the various... I'm trying to phase with other people. And you can see people looking for people for the Paradox Bounty. So let's see, are we going to get lucky? I guess not. Usually I'll try name at random. Although sometimes I'll look for names. Like for example, our friend Stark. If I see his name, I would probably try to phase with him again. He seemed fairly somewhat effective to find bounties. So I'll try random names, and at the same time I'll try to keep an eye on the looking for group in case someone calls one of the bounties. Ghost, nah. Sometimes all you can really do is wait for someone to call out the bounty. And also, if you've ever wondered how you can switch phase somewhat easily, then you can see how. But there's no bounty here, so let's try elsewhere. Could have sworn I saw a red dot on the menu. Oh yeah, Gentleman Ghost. We have him already. So let's keep on looking. That's a nice kind of bad girl. And I deserve a little hello. Ah, she replied back. She's so sweet. So let's see, who else could we try? No bounty here, so we're gonna have to try again elsewhere. Nope, wrong. Someday we'll get someone to phase with. So as you can see, part of the challenge is not just defeating the bounty, which is somewhat challenging when there's no one else. So far, we always had a pretty big group when we did defeat the bounties. We haven't seen a bounty that we were able to defeat with just like 3 or 4 players. Usually we were at least a full group, and sometimes even more than that. But the challenge, as you can see, is not just defeating the bounty, but actually finding it, and even worse, finding a group to find it, to fight it. We were a bit lucky though. The reset was only like 2 days ago. Like we're Saturday. Well, we were Saturday when I recorded this, so it was somewhat easier to find players and to find the bounties. But if you try to find players on like a Tuesday or Wednesday, usually by then most players have already completed the bounties, so you won't be able to find many people to do the bounties. So let's go back to our base for a minute. Let's see. I'm not sure why I have mail. Just some broker stuff I sold. And I've been meaning to do some crafting. Oh, someone has Grundy. So let's hurry up and salvage a few pieces, and I'll see if I can get. Let's go fight Bounty. Let's go fight Grundy with Popeye, Doc Popeye. Also, let's phase with him. I guess we were in the same phase. And let's go back. Sometimes, if you really cannot find a bounty, just go do something else, and keep an eye on the looking for group chat. And then, if you're lucky, someone will find the bounty you need, and then you can go join their group. So let's see if we can find our friend Popeye or Doc Popeye. No. Could have sworn. Well, let's see if we can. Maybe we didn't phase with him. Oh yeah, okay, there we go. Not sure why when I tried to phase earlier it didn't work. Oh well. Well, you see, there's a healthy group already. And as you can see, they started without inviting me. I'm so sad. Oh. So I'm trying to get closer so that my orbital strike will actually hit Grundy. Again, you can see the old skull next to Grundy's name. So ideally, when that happens, you try to either block, use a shield, or get out of range. But it can happen sometimes that you're stuck in the middle of some animation that you cannot stop. and then you get knocked out at that moment. It happens. So as you saw, we got Grunzy, the evil skulls next to Grundy, which took out at least 2 players. I wasn't able to do anything about it. And you can see here how small the area is. So when there's a lot of people on this side, it's a bit tricky trying to find the evil Grundy. And you can see the skull flashing in and off. Like sometimes he'll flash in very quick and he'll leave and then he'll come back again. So it'll be like, I'm not sure if it's the same attack or if it's a few quick successive attacks. Here I should be far enough that hopefully he's not going to target me. Maybe I should move out. Went the wrong direction. And one of our friends got knocked out by the evil Grundy. I guess that after a while fighting those bounties, you pretty much learn when they're going to do their attack and can pretty much anticipate their attack and react accordingly. I guess I haven't reached that point yet, so I still have to keep an eye out for the skull and hope to block on time. It's a bit tricky with, especially if I'm doing something like mass levitation. It's a bit hard to stop the interrupt the animation halfway through. Oh, maybe I should move a bit. Oh, we're almost there. Oh, one last call. And there we go. So even though I was just by myself, in DPS role, I was able to do enough damage to get the credit for the bounty. And there's once or twice where I did not manage to get it. I don't think it was for those bounties. I think it was for the paradox, one of the paradox bounties. So right now, the last one we need is Eclipso. So let's look in looking for group docs. Well, let's try and phase with who could we phase with? Oh, let's try Shadow Wars. Nope. Let's try. There's no secret formula. I just try. I don't know. I look at the names and try some at random. Sometimes that name will draw my attention and I'll try that name. For no other reason that either I'll find the name cool or it's a name that I don't remember trying. Nope. I guess we could wait until... Oh, Eclipso. Well, let's go there. Phase with Biscuit. So, oh. Eclipso is a tricky one. Like sometimes as soon as you see him in the door, he'll attack you. So you have to be a bit extra careful with the evil Eclipso. Oh, there's our friend Doc Popeye there. Oh, as you can see, Eclipso knocked out someone already. Out of all the bounty, the Eclipso is the one who has a tendency to to leave the small corridor. No, I wasn't able to target him. As like you see, there's so many people. It's kind of difficult to try to get closer. But luckily, I usually use long range attack with my Magneto, which is why I prefer to use mass levitation as opposed to master like freaking orbital strike was too far. So that's the drawback of fighting at long range. Sometimes you're a little too far and your orbital strike doesn't want to do the trick. But most of my attacks are pretty much long range attacks, which is why I prefer to use mass levitation as opposed to master like other players. There's players who sometimes in certain missions will tell me to use master instead, but mass levitation works better with the theme of my Magneto character, I suppose. So as you can see, it's a huge mess with a whole truckload of people. We barely see what's going on. Not even sure if... No, okay, I'm targeting Eclipso. And I'm teamed up with our friend Doc Popeye. So between the two of us, we should be able to do enough damage to get the credit. And there we go. So that was something. So again, ideally, you want to do the bounties not long after the weekly reset. That way, it's a little easier to find people who actually need to complete the bounties. Doesn't mean that you cannot do it later down the week, but you saw already how much I had to switch faces and use a looking for group to try to find people who had the bounties. If I'd done that on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, I would have probably spent a lot more time. Oh, we got a rare collection. Oh, that's nice. I should probably explain how you can get those rare collection at some point. I'll probably make a follow-up video. We got a 171 belt, but I have some better gear already. But well. It's going to be something good to salvage. So that's pretty much it for the bounties, guys. So as always, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.